When I first made application to the MBBs, that is McKinsey, BCG, and Bain, I made almost every mistake on this list. These are top 7 mistakes to avoid, especially if you are hoping to land a management consulting offer from these MBBs. This is more so for the people coming from non-MBA background like I did. I had a PhD in engineering and I was warming up to management consulting and I wanted to explore it. I was interested in it. And so I started application without knowing much about this world. And so that is why this channel exists. And if you are such a candidate with a PhD, postdoc, MD, JD, or non-MBA background and know little about management consulting, then you want to subscribe to this channel to gain some insights. So top 7 mistakes to avoid. Number 1, and the reason why I know these mistakes, like I mentioned, made almost every one of these mistakes. Poorly formatted CV. These MBBs are very particular about not only the formatting, but also the content of your CV. The CV that I used personally, because up to that point, really, I was mostly just using my academic CV, which, as you know, can be very different from what is needed for management consulting. I had, I think, 2 pages. I contemplated showing you guys, but I decided against it. Maybe when I do another video on resume, I might actually show you the CV that I used, but I'm not proud of it. And I'm now not surprised why I actually didn't get an offer the first time I applied. Most of the time, you will not get an offer, not because you are not bright enough or you don't have experience. In fact, your experience is needed. In fact, your GPA is okay. Most of the time, there is just a certain way of doing things during management consulting interviews that you need to be aware of. And if you're not aware of and making these mistakes, then you are denying yourself a chance. So we said poorly formatted CV. We will talk about that in detail, but just make sure you use a clean 1-pager. I think you will find some free templates somewhere on this internet. I'll leave that up to you for now. And then another thing you want to do on your CV is make sure every bullet on your CV is concise, and then it has starting preferably with a very strong verb, something like led a team of 3 people, researched, designed, improved by 20%. Quantify, bring numbers in, and then, if possible, get feedback from someone, preferably from that company that you are targeting, if possible. Number 2, assuming that management consulting interview is just like any other interview. That is what I assumed. And yes, I didn't go very far. Because as I think you already know, if you're keen about management consulting, then I think you already know that it's an entire world. It's an entire planet. There are things like the interviewing process is very different. And so number 1 is listen to people's experiences so that you have a rough idea of how the interviewing process is like before you even do anything else. And subscribe to this channel because I'll be sharing some of these things as we go along. Also go to LinkedIn, connect with people who are already like management consultants and at this company that you are targeting, so that whatever they are posting, I don't know if they post about like day in life or whatever it is, then you start learning 1 or 2 things about the job and also just about the company. Mistake number 3, unprepared for case interviews. When I applied, I did not know that there was an entire world of business case interviews. And if you're wondering what is a case interview, it's just like a business scenario. You are told there is this company A, B, C, D, which has been struggling with profitability or sales or whatever it is, and they want your help in solving that issue. And number 1, you just need to know roughly what are these business cases, and then you need to know there are things they call framework or just how to approach a business case. You need to know that, and not only knowing, you need to also practice. So I didn't do that because I did not know there was an entire world of case interviews. So you have to, that is if you make that mistake, you will not actually proceed too far, because that is part of the interviewing, because that will be your job pretty much on a daily basis. And so mistakes that many people do, I did, is not knowing that there is that entire world of case interviews. So what you want to do is, instead of, I think many people tend to just go online and then memorize this framework, memorize these answers. You do not want to memorize. You want to understand first principle. These pieces of advice that people give out, don't just take them as they are. You need to dig deeper and ask questions, understand, so that so that you are not a robot, and you can then like be flexible to do whatever case that is thrown at you. So start by going online. There are so many of these cases. So just read or listen or watch how they are done as a starting point. But then you need to really understand and prepare deeply. If possible, also, once you watch and understand basics of these cases, I would recommend that you start practicing. Practicing is the shortcut to understand what is going on here. So every weekend, maybe, or one evening every weekday, you could just start with 30 minutes. You just practice on your own at first, and then you get a practicing buddy, someone to practice with. Number 4, not preparing enough for the fit or behavioral interview side of things, because you spent all your time practicing the case interviews. Fit or behavioral questions, behavioral side of the interview is equally important. And so I would recommend that immediately you decide that you're going this management consulting interview route, you have a simple thing like Google Doc, and then build a bank. Build a bank of stories from your life, because you'll be asked a lot. There will be like so many rounds of interviews, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5, and they'll be asking you, tell us a time about when you solved a problem, tell us a time you worked in a team, tell us a time you worked under stress. Those things, all those things, I think you guys already know what I'm talking about. So build a bank of practical, very strong examples from your own life. Because I've done so many things, I'm 34, so many things, so many great things, so many mistakes I've done in my life. But if you tell me to name 5 now, I will most probably just tell you the most recent. And then I forget maybe the ones that happened during my PhD. And maybe those are the most impactful ones. So when your mind is relaxed right now, before a lot of adrenaline closer to the interviews, I would say, whenever you think of a good example, a very impactful example from your life, write it down. And I think you know how to write it down using the STAR method. If you don't know what a STAR method is, so many people are explaining it on the internet. I will actually even put another video from my other channel where I explained what a STAR method is, where you tell the situation, you tell us about the task, the action that you took, and then the result from that action. So write every story in the bank using STAR method, and then down the line you will start practicing, but just note down impactful stories from your life. Number 5 is poor networking and referral strategy. Another thing is that once you've decided you're going this route, networking, connecting with people is something you want to do. Go to LinkedIn. Here again, I'll refer you I'll video or this episode on my other channel where I talked about how to connect with people on LinkedIn. So you don't want to just send cold LinkedIn messages. Many people will not reply to that. There is a way you can use emotional intelligence to start connecting with people, like people you went to same school with, people from same country, just some commonalities. And I explained in depth in that episode on how to connect with people on LinkedIn. The reason why this is important is because I think you already know how referral works. If someone refers you, there is a way they can generate an internal link which you can use to then apply, or there is a way they can send your CV directly to HR or something like that. So it kind of puts your application really like top of the pile. And I would recommend, if you can do that as early as possible. Do not wait until it's like a recruitment season, because then everyone is doing, and those people will get a lot of LinkedIn messages and they will not reply. So you want to start as early as possible. Immediately you decide that you want to try this management consulting interviewing process, start reaching out to people, connect with people, and then once you've established good connection, then request them to refer you internally. Number 6, I think you've noted that on this video I'm mostly talking about MBB, because that is the only experience I have. And so if you are interested in any other consulting companies, then you might get some of the insights here, but I'm mostly focusing on management consulting at the MBBs. So if you do not understand, these MBBs have separate strengths and things. They have like separate missions and vision and whatever. And so you need to understand why McKinsey and not BCG, why BCG and not McKinsey, why BCG and not Bain, why Bain and not the other. So Start reading their website, follow them on social media, comment thoughtfully on their posts. So just start following them so that you understand what sets them apart and why you want to work for this other and not the other one. Although I think generally people just apply to all of them, to all the three. I would recommend you do that as well. Apply to all the three, but at least know what sets each apart. And then number 7 is not starting early. So start early and start leveraging online resources. Most of these resources are free. In fact, I was just thinking today when I was preparing for this video that I don't envy the people who went through this process before the internet, because I think people used to go to, I'm guessing, you go to a library and then read about this and then prepare. Goodness. Now there is a lot of resources, like people talking about these things on the internet, on YouTube, sharing their personal stories, how they went through the process, sharing some tips and insights like I'm doing here. So you literally just get free resources. And also AI, that is GPT, which you can feed all those PDFs you have of the cases and maybe ask it to generate, I don't know, maybe top 20 that will challenge you on this area and this area. And it just kind of shortcuts your preparation process. And so it will be a mistake if you do not start early and if you do not leverage these free platforms, which I'll just leave it up to you. Just Google them. I would actually say if you're starting out, and this video is for anyone who is just like starting out, start with YouTube or those podcasts and blogs. Just read about, and again, while you're doing this, by the way, put on some filter. Just know that my experiences or experiences of the other person might be different from your experiences. And so if people tell you it was very difficult, you cannot get in, that was their experience. Your experience might be different. So while you listen to these stories, of course, use a filter like we all do with all these information we get from the internet. Yeah, start early and then leverage those free resources. Join practice groups. That is the most important thing as well. It will help you. It will like fast track you. And especially if you're coming from non-MBA background and you're just learning about this case interview things just now, there is a lot to learn. And the easiest way is to practice with somebody. Remember, some of these guys who've been preparing to go into management consulting, they joined, like, I don't know, I heard these consulting clubs in most of the unis, and they have been practicing pretty much since they were in their first year of undergrad. So you can imagine the experiences they have with the cases. They can do these cases like with their eyes closed. And so you want to pair up with people. It will fast track your learning process instead of doing this all by yourself. And so if you mostly if you're coming from non-MBA background, like I had mentioned, a PhD, a postdoc, an MD, and you are warming up to this management consulting world, you want to subscribe to this channel so that you get tips, insights, and stories on how to transition into management consulting. Until the next video, all the best.